Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
Today we're going to talk about something that often we forget to do.
Hit the like button.
Another thing that we... Very good. You're very good.
A little early, but hey, we got it in.
That we often should do, but we often forget to do. And it's look at the big picture. And I was thinking about this today. You're aware that I sell on Etsy, correct?
Yep, every Wednesday, 7:03, we hear about it.
That is very true. The most interactive live show out there. I've got about 400 to 500 items listed on Etsy right now, and I probably sell 3 to 4 a week. I'm making money on Etsy. I looked into Etsy, 10 years ago? Something or other like that. And I've looked into it throughout the years. And I never pulled the trigger for listing on Etsy. Do you know why?
Well, I think the issue I had, isn't it expensive, like per item?
Exactly. Yeah. It's 20 cents an item for a 4-month listing. So you pay up front 20 cents. And then if it doesn't sell, it automatically relists, so it's 20 cents again and 20 cents again and so on and so on. And I thought exactly what you thought. I go, this is kind of expensive. And so I was taking a look at it on the per item basis. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I list this magazine. I'm paying 60 cents a year. If it doesn't sell for 5 years, $3, and you do that across a whole bunch of items, you're not making any.
Right.
But the bigger picture, I'm selling 4 to 5 items a week and, not making a lot of money, but I'm putting 15 to 20 bucks a week in my pocket is what I'm putting in my pocket at this point. And I'm just, was that $600, $700 a year.
Well, not a lot of effort either. So,
right, because I'm listing one item a day, and then, I know right where it is. It's easy to find at this point. I just grab it, pack it up, and send it on out. And they're mostly things that I've got sitting around here anyway, so I just do one item. So the small picture is exactly what you said. Gosh, it's kind of expensive to list things, 20 cents an item, and especially when you're first starting out. Yeah. Because you have no track record.
Right.
You have no items listed, so you've got no critical mass. You have no positive feedback, so nobody knows who you are. And you've never sold on the venue before.
Yeah.
For all I know, Hungarian polka albums are the greatest thing in the world on there, and I don't have any of those listed. So it takes time to learn the venue as well. So I was always scared off of listing by the small picture, which is it's kind of expensive, and I'm not going to sell anything for a while. I'm not going to list on there.
Right.
The bigger picture is I'm making $15, $20 a week, and over time it's going to grow to more. I'm going to end up making a couple of years from now, hopefully a couple of grand extra just from having that venue open.
Yeah.
That's the big picture. And I think too often we take a look at the small picture and not the big picture. What would you say about that?
I would agree. Yeah, and I did the same thing. And I think I started Etsy, but once I saw the fees, and I think they gave me that violation in that dumb magazine, but and I just quit, never went back and gave it a second try. And maybe that's something I should entertain at some point.
Yeah, and I mean, are there any other things that you can think about where it turns out you should have done it sooner, but you were focused on the wrong item or wrong aspect?
Well, I think when everyone gets involved with eBay first, everyone wants to put all their eggs into eBay, and then there's all these other platforms that, hey, I can be making money here and there, and then, just like when I got kicked off eBay for a month, I found Amazon, so who knows? If I never got kicked off, maybe I would never have been on Amazon, who knows, and that would be my only platform. But now, we're on 3, 4, 5 platforms, and, you branch out, and it's, it's worth it, so whether you sell a little bit or a lot, it all adds up at the end of the day.
No, you're absolutely right on that. And I think another part on it is you hear all these people making money in all the different venues and all the different avenues, and I think you have to take a look for yourself whether it's going to work or not. But you can't just look at the small picture. You also have to look at the big picture. And I'll give you an example. A lot of people do very, very well at flea markets. I'm not going to set up at a flea market because for me, the big picture is the amount of work involved versus the return on it for me.
Right.
However, there are a lot of people that absolutely swear by it.
Yeah.
And how many times have we seen things out there that we have said, wow, if we set up at flea markets, that's the absolute perfect thing to sell at that kind of thing. That would go really, really well. I'll give you a little insider tip out there, an idea that I had years ago when I was contemplating setting up at flea markets. Get a bunch of the bins, the big green bins or whatever color bin they happen to be, and start filling them up over the winter time with stuff for the flea market. So you've got 20 bins, 25 bins, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And figure out how many bins you can bring to the flea market and set up reasonably. Say 5 bins.
Right.
So week 1, you bring bins 1 through 5. Week 2, you bring bins 6 through 10, and so on and so on. Meantime, new stuff that comes in, the new stuff that comes in week 2, you're putting in bins 1 through 5.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the new stuff that comes in, and so you never bring the same stuff week after week, because that is one of the biggest problems that I see with people at flea markets. And
well, if it's mostly the same people, they're seeing the same stuff, and they'll just walk by you at some point and stop looking at your stuff.
That's absolutely true. There have been any number of times that I've gone to somebody's table and I've looked, I go, oh yeah, I know this guy. Yeah, he's got the same stuff he always has.
Yeah.
And you just walk on by. And I can't help, I really shouldn't do this, but there are a number of times that I chuckle to myself, because there'll be something or other he has there that he wants $10 on, and I offered him $6 on it.
It's still there.
And it's still there week after week after week after week. And I'm thinking to myself, you should have just taken the $6 from me. Nobody else is going to give you the $10 on it. They're just not going to.
Yeah.
That's not a hot item. I happen to sell on eBay, and I happen to know my niche very well. I know I could make money off of it. I could probably make money at 10 as well, but I don't want to pay 10 on it.
Right.
I want to pay 6 on it.
Yeah.
And that's another example of seeing the big picture. The small picture is, I gotta get my $10 out of it. No, the big picture is you get 6, you move it on.
And now you're coming back to more too now.
That's true too.
It's reasonable.
That's true too. Well, and the other thing too is there's a finite amount of table space at a flea market. So if I go there and I bring 2 card tables, I can fill up 2 card tables. That one magazine is taking up this amount of space on the card table.
Yeah, percentage, yeah.
Now I take it away, and now next week I bring something else there that I can put in there. So the big picture is put the $6 in your pocket and use that space to sell something else, offer something else over time. But again, they're just looking at the small picture. And I think too often, a lot of us do not step back and look at the big picture. And I'm going to give one other quick example of the big picture versus the small picture. I've been going to the antique shows, flea markets forever, and you would be amazed how many, especially once they learn that you're a dealer, how many dealers complain about eBay and things like that. And I'm very open telling them I sell on eBay and tell them, hey, I need some room. I sell on eBay. I got the fees. I got this. It just happened this past time, and it happened at Madison Bachville. I sell things on eBay. I'm going to need kind of a break in price because I've got all the fees. And they go, yeah, and you get that $10.99 also. Yeah. Implying they're not necessarily paying all of the taxes that are due is basically what they're saying. So they're like, oh, you got to pay taxes on what you sell too. There's no way to hide it. Right. Well, they're looking at the little picture. Yeah. The big picture is, okay, so you're reporting all of your income in. By the time you take out all of the legal deductions that you can take out, you're actually probably not making that much. Right. Just keep good records, report all of your sales, and you probably and you can sleep at night.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yep.
Which is kind of a big deal as well. But again, they're looking at the small picture. Ooh, I put $25 in my pocket, and not the big picture that I'm not going to be in any trouble. I reported everything. I took all of my expenses, and no big deal.
Exactly.
So do step back and try as best as you're able to look at the big picture. Don't always just look at the small picture on everything, but look at the big picture. And again, I'm making money now off Etsy, and I guess not that I necessarily would have been asking the same prices on stuff back in the day on Etsy, but imagine had I started going 10 years ago. And say I would, we'll just say on average I'm making $25 a week for 10 years. Yeah. You're talking I'd have $12,000 more in my pocket. Yeah. Except I'd get a $10.99, so I'd only have $8,000 more. Oh, darn it. Jeez. So I'd have $8,000 more in my pocket right now had I started 10 years ago and looked at the big picture. Yeah. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. And if you could look at the big picture for the channel and hit the like button, we would really appreciate it. And we'll see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.